In this video, we're going to be breaking down how we build brands from scratch. And I mean the logos, the colors, the typefaces, the imagery, the styling, everything. We're going to do that in one sitting. So buckle up, lock and load. Let's get into it. So the brand we're going to be building today is a conceptual one, but we're going to be going through the process step by step so you can follow and you can basically do this for yourself or for your clients, no problem. The way that we start this is we always start with the brand intelligence, which ultimately helps you use AI to conduct customer research. That gives you a brand playbook on what your customers' psychographics are, what your customers' demographics are, what their pain points are, what hooks we can ultimately use. And then it also creates your brand's core offer. We're then going to take that information and then we're going to get into designing. All right, so the design system, how it looks and feels, how it comes alive across different applications. So you can take that brand guideline and then replicate it and use AI to create social media campaigns, ads, websites, which ultimately look and feel like they're part of the same cohesive brand, which is what a lot of AI building is not doing right now. Okay, so this video is going to solve that for you. We're then going to get into step 2, design references. That will be the base of the visual style. We'll then be building the actual brand system using GPT Image 2 and an awesome tool called Lovart. And then we're going to be getting into coding and building. Okay, so we can use Claude for that, or we can use Codex for that. Remember, your brand is your reputation, not your logos, colors, and all of that stuff. It's important, but really what's more important is who is the brand actually trying to speak to, and we build around that. Not just about looking pretty at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the brand intelligence app and I'm just going to go through the process. I'm going to go through, I know my audience, fill out this data, and then it's going to take me through a bunch of steps and it's going to give me all of the prompts and everything I need right at the end of it. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now that the brand intelligence has run, we've got our offer statement, we've got what the offer gives you, what you can use it for, hidden benefits, etc., our program name and our branding, and then all of the other data that we've gotten from that. So what we can do now is we can download a JSON file so we can feed that to other AI platforms and it'll understand everything about our brand, our offer, etc. And we can also download this brand system prompt pack, which is what we're going to be doing right now. So if I was doing this from scratch, I'd be downloading all of these, saving them somewhere safely. So for this one, I'm just going to save this in brand design system and I'm going to say prompt pack. I'm going to show you exactly what's inside now. All right, so inside this prompt pack, this gives you the exact process that you need to follow in order to create the brand. So the first prompt we're going to be running here is prompt number 1. I'm just going to take that whole thing and then I'm going to go to Lovart.ai. I'm going to drop that in. Okay, so we've got our full prompt. Okay, you're a world-class creative director and brand designer working at a top-tier agency. And it's basically just a prompt on extracting the full design reference from this whole thing. Now, I got this prompt from this dude called Amir. So shout out Amir. I really love your prompts, dude. But all we're doing is we're taking his first prompt. And the problem with what I found from this workflow is that, it was designing it for like big brands like Gucci and Crocs. And that's not really relevant for my clients. My clients need a brand design system that's relevant for them. And that's why we're pairing these prompts with this output. Okay, so it's very, very specific for your brand and your use case. So before we send this prompt, what I'm going to do is just head over to Pinterest and I'm going to look at some sites. I'm going to look at some design inspiration that I like and just see, okay, are there any brand styles that I ultimately want to model my brand from? Now, before anyone drops a comment saying, oh my gosh, you're just copying and stealing, guys, this is what branding agencies do. Every single design agency goes through the same process of mood boarding, finding inspiration. It's what artists and creators have been doing forever. Okay, and you'll see in a second how we're going to adapt this to our own brand. So we're not just creating a carbon copy of someone else's brand. Okay, so I'm just going to go find a reference and let's get cooking. All right, so I've got some cool looking images over here. So I'm just going to start grabbing these so we can just drop them in as our design references inside of Lovart. Because we're building for a fitness-based brand here around getting shredded, metabolism, etc., we're going to want images which ultimately showcase that. Okay, some of these are quite cool as well, so let's drop them in. All right, so we've got our design references, our image styles, typography, etc. What we probably do want to do as well is just find something also which has a bit of UX on it. So I'm just going to go back to a website, design, inspiration, and then I'm just going to say fitness. All right, let's get some Nike sexiness in here as well. Okay, so we got all our references in there. We've got a little bit of typography. We've got some image styles, and we've got our prompt. Let's go ahead and send it. GPT Image 2 selected. What this is now going to do is build us our initial brand board, and then we can go out and customize it with our actual brand context, wording, and positioning that we created in the intelligence app. Now, the reason I really like Lovart, so this is a brand that we started creating earlier using the same process, is that you start to create like a really nice visual style. You can extract logos, you can create image references, and it's all baked into GPT Image 2, so we can start creating posters, brand guidelines, etc., and also just have it in a nice mood board visual style like this, which ultimately, is so useful. All right, so let's wait for this to generate, see what it comes back with. All right, so here is the brand board that Lovart/GPT Image 2 has created for us, and I must say it's looking pretty flipping good. All right, so that image has a lot of dynamism in, which it ultimately got from one of our style references, and it's matched that pretty damn closely. I like the colors, I like the composition, the logic, the devices it's created, the textures, etc. All right, so that's looking pretty cool. Now what we need to do is we need to add our actual brand's context to this. All right, so we're going to go into our prompt style pack. Now this prompt number 2 is really cool because this has all of the brand's positioning, who the client is, what the core idea is baked into it. So it's a customized prompt from that process. I'm just going to go in over here, select this image, send it to the chat, drop my prompt in, and let's go. All right, so this is going to take now this brand board and customize it for our actual brand. All right, cool. So you can see here, it's populated the H1 with some copy based on what the main slogan was, the science-backed way to repair your energy and body composition. So I think this is looking pretty cool. Now what we're going to do is just follow up, and we're just going to drop in the second prompt, which is going to get it to create a mood board of visual assets for the campaign, digital banners, social media banners, ad materials, aesthetics, etc. All right, so now what we're going to do is expand on this and see if we can start exploring different applications for it. All right, so you can see now that the brand is really starting to come alive a little bit. Okay, so you can see it started to take some different banners, what a website might look like, what different images look like, etc., different brand marks, potential mockups for digital programs. So the design system is coming together really nicely. And you can see how it's taken those colors and started to apply it, proactively, which is really cool. Now you can see it started to create like a little bit of a logo over there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to expand it. We're going to go back to our prompts, and we're going to go to prompt number 3, which is essentially your logo and word mark prompt. Okay, so we're going to just copy that prompt. I'm going to take it, select these as my references, drop the prompt in there, and let's send it now and get some options. All right, so we got some logo, word marks, and design iterations there, which is pretty cool. So we can ultimately go out and start choosing the ones we like now and start extracting those into actual logos. So I could now essentially go back and iterate on these as much as I want, but I kind of like this as the text word mark. And I also like this option. I like that option. They're all pretty cool. So technically you could use all of them. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and start creating some social media designs, carousel designs, etc., from this design style. So I'm just going to select this. I'm going to select this. I'm going to select, I'm not going to select that. I'm just going to select these two. I'm going to say create a social media carousel design system that I can use for organic social media and also for paid advertising as static ads. Do a few mockups so we can explore what this brand might look like as it gets into social media and the ad design world. All right, so our social media design system has been created. You can see here, we've got a bunch of different carousel template styles. We got ad styles. We got some before and after contrast, which is fantastic. So it's understood the assignment exactly and incredibly well. So that's looking pretty damn good. So what I'm going to do now is just go back to our brand system prompt. I'm going to use the next prompt, which is going to get it to create a website homepage direction for us. Okay, I'm going to select our original brand board. I'm going to select our logos. I'm going to select this too, just whichever ones are relevant. And I'm going to drop that prompt in and I'm going to send it. Guys, this is too easy, man. What the hell? All right, and we've got our website homepage now. So you can expand that and you just see that it's taken our core photo and that looks flipping awesome, guys. So we can now go out and start building that and creating that inside of Claude Code or Codex. And if you want to learn how to take that image and turn it into an actual website design, check out one of my previous videos where I go into this exact process, but now we're doing it with a real brand. We're not guessing. We've gone from an idea of a brand, we've done the research, we've taken the copy from it, and we've built out a visual design system and style, images, typography, colors, mockups, what it could look like on social media, ads, etc. We've got logos, we've got our website homepage, and we ain't even had breakfast yet, guys. Come on, come on. All right. So that's looking pretty sharp right now. I'm liking this. Now, the final step of this puzzle is to take this design system and build it into something that's replicatable, right? So we don't have to go into this project and, design from scratch, but we can ultimately take the core elements. We can take our logos, typography, colors, images, and build an actual replicatable brand system so we can create content and we can come back to this and build on top of it as we move. So we're essentially going to use Lovart's brand kit functionality. So if you just go over here, you hit brand kit, you go create brand kit, and then it asks for a logo, it asks for fonts, it asks for colors, design guidance, photography, and brand guideline. Guess what? We have all of that. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extract the core images that I like. So I'm going to use this little mark tool over here. I'm going to select that. I'm going to select that. I'm going to select that. Boom, boom, boom. These images are cool too. Please extract all of the images that have been selected so they are standalone images that we can use elsewhere. I'm going to extract the logos exactly how I've done it. I'm going to select it and ask Lovart to extract these. Okay, I'll check back with you in just a second. All right, guys, so you can see here, I've extracted some of the core images. So these are now standalone images that we can use for our brand, which is really cool. This is like the hero section of our site. And these are the different logos. Now I can just go remove background pretty quickly. And now I've got a white transparent background for the logo. Bosh. Can do that for this one as well. Bosh. I can do it for this one as well. Bosh. Okay, so you can see we've got the logo. Obviously that's not ideal and we can kind of prompt it back and forth a little bit, but if you put it on a black background, it looks absolutely fine. So that's kind of cool, guys. You can see we've got our white. Now I can also just say, create a black version of this logo. All right, so we can get our different logo styles, different logo colors for our design system. So we can start to populate and create different things. So we've got our word mark there in white. So I would just create a black version of that as well, just so we have some flexibility. Same for this. But now that we've got this, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and start packaging this up. So I'm going to select all the images, download them. And Bob's your uncle, guys. Bob's your flippin' uncle. That's awesome. All right, so logos are downloaded. Okay, I'm also going to download this one, which is the main pack. I'm also going to download this, and I'm going to go into our brand kit inside of Lovart. We're going to go here. We're going to go logos. We're going to add all of them. Done. Okay, so while those are uploading, we're going to go back to our designs. We're going to select these colors over here. And I'm just going to go select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to say, give me the exact actual hex codes for these colors. Okay, so Lovart is going to extract the hex codes for this so we can start populating our colors. All right, so you can see our logos are updated. We're going to go to colors now. First one is black. The second one is charcoal. Okay, so that's looking good. We're going to go to photography now. Images, get all of our photos. Upload those. And you can see here now, while that's uploading, we need fonts and we need design guidance. Okay, so if we just go back here, you can see that it's chosen like a random font. I'm going to do exactly the same thing and say, give me the actual Google fonts that are used in these designs so we can replicate this elsewhere. So obviously, GPT Image has created these, so we don't know what fonts they've used. So using this prompt in particular is going to give us like the closest possible font so we can actually replicate this, properly. All right, so it's given us a recommended Google font stack. So we're going to go for Bebas New, select that. We're going to add another one. We're going to choose Big Old Anton, and we're going to choose a body font. We're going to go for Inter, which I like. We've got Inter over there. Okay, now we need design guidance. So I'm just going to go here and say, please review all of the designs here and give me a 1-paragraph design guidance brief. All right, so we've got our design brief. Copy that. Go here, update it. Okay, so we're going to give this a name. Okay, the Prime Physique Protocol. Call it that. and then create a project with this design brief. So that's going to open up a new chat in Lovart, and it's basically going to tell us exactly what we can create with this brand look and feel with this design system. Okay, so ultimately this is the first step of the process. We can now start creating actual landing pages from this design system, social media content, and start getting this brand out into the world, right? So whether you're doing this for yourself or your clients, this gives you the ability to get to an actual living, breathing concept far quicker. For example, the other day I had a new client starting, wanted a website. I went through this exact process, designed the brand look and feel for them, and they signed off on it then and there. And it was literally a couple of hours. Now, you might be saying, Luke, why the hell are you showing this process if you charge clients high ticket for this stuff? The majority of people out there are not going to go through this exact process. I'll tell you that for a sure fact. So if you want to do it for yourself or your clients, you're going to be at a massive advantage. Take advantage of this. People will pay you thousands of dollars to implement this process for them. All right, my friends. So if you want to do this for yourself or for your clients and start charging people for the work that you're actually doing, jump into our school community. You'll get access to the Brand Intelligence app and all of the prompts we used inside of this process. So you can go from idea to a premium brand design system in literal minutes. And once you've got the brand system locked and loaded, this is when you can start to get into beautiful things like website design, funnel building, marketing, and the services that you can offer to clients at the back end of this or do for yourself is literally unlimited. So if you want to get access to Lovart as well, the link is in the description of this video. So my friends, I will see you on the next one.